Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the third effort at this particular picture. I've been aching to get at it all week, so I hope I don't make a pig's ear of it because I'm so keen. Right, now I'm going to tackle this part up here today because I think that will give a whole lot of meaning to what's going on down here. And then we can look at the textures later. Like all watercolor work, I'm not quite sure how long this is going to take. It might be over in 5 minutes, in which case I can move on to something else. It might take forever, in which case I'll have to do some more next week. Right, let's see how we get on. Now, if you remember, we used purple and burnt umber as the darks in particular. So what I want to do is take a little of that purple and define where the branches are, leaving out the highlights as far as I can. Now this branch coming down here is all dark, so I'm going to paint him. It's quite a thick branch. It goes over this one, but it's got a bit of a thing sticking out there. A bit of a sawn off branch sticking out there, which goes that way. And then this comes down. One of the things you have to be careful about when you're doing this is working out where your branches are in relation to the other branches. Now this one comes down to meet this giant coming across here like that. Now while it's wet, I'm going to take a bit of the dark and introduce it. Now the light's coming every which way, but nice anyway. I think this is the darkest side, so I'm going to introduce the dark down this side. It's already in shadow, but this will just bleed across and give us a little bit more feeling of the dark coming on. There we are. This one here is all dark, this branch here. Probably have to do something with and it comes in over this branch here and crosses that and comes down there like that. I'm not too worried about the bits left, and I've made him a bit thicker than he actually is, but I don't think that matters. That's what's likely to happen. So that one's there. This one here is lit from this on the top, so I want to keep that dark there. I should have waited. Can you see that's bled into that? Okay. I'm going to blot that out because it's doing things to my other branch. Right, now this one here is also quite dark with the light on top. So I'm going to start again with the purple and just show where the branch is. And I'm just going to leave a tiny little space between that and the next one so I don't get the same problem as last time. Now that's got a lot of water in it. So if I take the brown neat this time, straight from the palette, and run it in down there Now this is much thicker paint, so with a bit of luck it won't run so far. And as it gets down here, it does in fact get darker. Up there. And this has lost its edge, this one here, so we'll try to put it back in. Wetting the brush, drying the brush, just running a dry brush down there, mildly damp. Right, and I think I'll take the dark paint and put this one in again. And we could put some just to brighten up a little bit. Right, now then, while that area there is drying, I think I'll go out here with my practically neat paint and put in some of these. Which way does that one go? I think that one goes behind this one. There's another branch comes down here. This one here is also quite thin. But it is top lit in places, so in places you can make it lighter, and in places you make it the heavy dark that you've got. This one is definitely, where are we? There's that, that's there. This comes down here. Not really dark enough. I want it quite dark in places. If you want it really dark, you want more paint, less water. And if you take it neat from the pan, from the squeeze out that you've done, you do get darker colour. By going over those ones at the back, you are emphasizing the fact that they are behind. I've done some very funny drawing here, but never mind, eh? Right, now let's go back to the purple. Take the water out of the brush, pick up some of the purple. Now this one is definitely lit at the top, so I don't want the the whole of that. Comes down to here. Right. Now, if I take up some of my darker colour and put it underneath, because that's what happens, with a bit of luck, it should start to run up. And of course, it gets quite dark down here. Now you can see it hasn't actually run, so I'm going to see what I can do about that. It's just wet paint. Beginning to come. And I've got another really dark one here. I'm trying to avoid areas. And this one comes over this one. So if we bring this one down here, like that, and stop there. This is quite a dark one. It's not, but it's quite thick. It's fairly evidently behind that one. Let's see what we can do with this now. Take the purple. What happens here? That one sweeps up there, so that one goes to that one, but not across it. Now, if I wait too long, that will be dry by the time I put the dark in. That's not a good help. It's already dried. Must be very warm today. I'm going to have to go over that again with a damp brush just to persuade it to soften the edge. It gives a bit of shape. Things need emphasizing, don't they? Trouble watercolor drying lighter. No. Right, okay, let's see what we can do with this configuration here. The whole thing is in shadow to some extent, this great knob here. So if we take that around here, now when we get here, the top of that branch is in the light. It's got bits of colour coming across, and that is in shadow there. Oh, it's galloping dry. I've never known paper dry so quick. So I'll wet it off with a bit of water. And pick up my neat raw umber and see if I can come on, Daddy-o. You want it dark. Oh, this is all dark here. That's not dark enough. Come on, Dad. Dark you down. And the dark comes underneath here. And here. Now then, this branch here that we're dealing with actually is the one that goes snaking up here. And this is all part of the same branch. Let's see. This part is in shadow still. This part is catching the light a bit. So I'm going to just run a bit of water there to soften that edge. Pick up the neat paint and take it up there. All this is in the light, so with a bit of luck, it will. By the time we get up here, this is really in the dark. Catching the light differently depending on the leaves up above it, so you can allow yourself a bit of leeway. Right. Now, if I again pick up this purple, this branch comes down here. There's another one there, which comes out of this one, which is rather nice. I want that area there to be really dark because that's really in shadow. Oh gosh, all right. Again, neat paint. It's not enough time, really not enough time.
Never enough time.
Never enough time. Right. This one here on the edge is also pick up the dark paint. I don't want to make too much of this bit because it's right on the edge, but it does help to create the shape if we can get it right. some of them are not dark. It's going paler, you know. Right. Just re-wetting that one. And going in with neat paint again, right on the point, because I want to push the bottom really far back. It's stuttering, which is fine. And then we get this really dark up there. Right, there's only really this one to do at this stage. So I'll do him. Remove the water, pick up the neat paint. Now again, this is quite dark at the bend here. That goes down to there. This is dark. Well, it's beginning to come. Some of the edges where the light is need to be tidied up a bit so that they show as the light edges. For instance, this area here, I need to redress the balance, and there's a lot more activity going on behind that one there. So that's how much time we've got, Rachel?
5 minutes.
Right. Did I? Oh, that sort of colour. Right, so I can put a few shapes of leaves and things on here. With the darker paint, just to suggest that there's a bit of a difference between.
Head.
Sorry.
What I'm here for. Well, if I come over here with the dark paint, just give you some idea of what I'm planning. So if we get a branch there, that would help a bit. Yeah, just adding a little bit of presence to some of them, so they're a little, this one is obviously nearer than some of the others, so we can add shapes to some of them, which will make better. And the other thing we can do is to take a neat blue this is Prussian blue, and just, it's too dark, just create that area where the lights are not white, thereby making the whites that I want to stay white show up as white. This is just in effect darkening the sky area and giving a bit more shape. By going over everything underneath, it's sort of pulling it together and making it so you can see where you want the light to show, it does, and where you feel that the light is detracting from the highlight. And just how that throws up that highlight so that it starts to be a highlight on the branch instead of wondering whether it's the sky or whatever else it might be. It does help to pull it together.
1 minute.
Right. If I can get that done. This area. Just using that to bring out the highlights on the branches, as opposed to a lot of white splodges all over the place, which could be anything.
Less than 1 minute.
Right. Just about done it now, actually. A little bit over here. So this down here could be a lot darker, actually. I'll probably do that next week. It started to make the tree come away from the background.